All right, YouTube. This is Daryl with Sinister Suspension here in Penticton, BC. If you haven't looked at any of our other videos, welcome to the channel. Today we are going to be doing a quick, just a review on the Fuelpak FP3 tuner from Vance & Hines on a 2018 Streetglide. Just kind of wanted to show people how easy it was to use, how easy it is to install, and maybe help make your decision on what fuel tuner you want to use. There's a lot of debate about what the best fuel tuner is and who has the best fuel tuner. I think the best fuel tuner for you is the one that you're comfortable with, the one that's the most user-friendly for you, and the one that really is going to give you less chance to hurt your bike. I've had the Fuelpak FP3 twice. This is the second bike I've had it on, and I love it. It's very user-friendly. It Bluetooths to my phone, so when I want to make adjustments, if I decide I'm going to put camshafts in my bike or, you know, upgrade anything on my bike, even put a big bore in it or whatever, I just go into my app, I can adjust that stuff in there, and away I go. So the Fuelpak FP3 from Vance & Hines is pretty user-friendly. A couple things you want to do on your bike, on the bagger, for example. Softails are a little different. You're just going to install them under the seat. Some of the older bikes, I'd have to look in the manual to see. On these baggers, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get rid of your left side bag, your seat, and the side panel. Miller Lite is optional. And what you're going to do is you're just going to come down in behind this side panel after all that stuff is off. And there will be a 6-pin connector hanging in here. It'll have a rubber grommet on the top of it. And that is basically the interface for anything that Harley's gonna do if they need to flash your computer, they gotta, you know, check on codes or whatever. That's the interface they use. So the Fuelpak itself actually plugs into that 6-pin connector and you leave it connected. Vance & Hines is a little, sort of loose on their instructions as far as the install goes. You could try and find space inside this cavity for it. For me personally, I don't like the idea of it just rattling around inside behind this panel. And there's quite a bit going on here as there is already. So what I did was I took this wire, the 6-pin wire, and I routed it between the frame and the top of this plastic housing that has these computer modules and the fuse panel, etc. in it. And I ran it up just under the seat here. And so here's the plug you can see here. It's a gray plug. And that's the one that hooks to the Fuelpak module. And now what I did was the Fuelpak module from Vance & Hines is small enough and thin enough that I just took double-sided tape and I actually double-sided taped it right to the ECM. My seat still clears this. I've been riding this for a few hundred kilometers in this configuration. I used to have it in behind the panel, but I decided to move it because I didn't like where it was. And there's no wear on it. My seat doesn't touch it. I have enough clearance that you're not going to crush and hurt it. Just another tidbit of information here. Dig into my stash. I don't use 3M double-sided tape. Gorilla tape. It's easily 10 times stronger. The only bad thing about it is hard to get off later on. So once it's had some heat and it's stuck itself down, you're gonna need heat to get it off. But it's very, very nice stuff. I've actually in the past used that exact tape to tape on my license plate on a smaller license plate bracket that's formed to the fender on my Softail. And then that way it looked like my license plate was nice and tucked down, almost Frenched into the rear fender. So I love that tape. It works really well. Have some in your shop. You never know when you're gonna need it. There's always something you wanna stick on your bike. Is they vibrate, they rattle down the road. The last thing you wanna do is have something come loose. So the Fuelpak 3 from Vance & Hines, very user-friendly. On these newer bikes with the throttle by wire, you're gonna find from factory, if you're coming from a traditional push-pull throttle, there's definitely a delay in that between the throttle itself and the servo on the throttle body. Just a quick bit of advice is take inside the app, once you get the app Bluetooth to your phone, in there, there's a section called throttle progressivity. You're gonna wanna up the throttle progressivity to, I can't remember what setting I've got mine on, but there's like 4 or 5 different settings. There's stock, and then there's like a modified stock, and then there's a race one and stuff. And what they do is they try and time the throttle on the bar to the servo motor on the throttle body a little tighter, so that you get more of a true throttle response. It definitely takes that delay out of the throttle from factory. It's just something you want to do. Just make sure you go in and turn that up. A lot of guys forget, and then they get out there and they bog and they have that delay in them. So that's today's video. Just wanted to do a quick how-to on the Fuelpak. Let you know I love it. It's got a lot of parameters you can change on it. It absolutely works miracles in this bike. It worked miracles in the last bike I had too. So very good product. I love it, and it's got tons of options. So any questions or comments, just go ahead and send them below.